Okay, hello everyone, welcome back, and this is going to be the fourth video for this weekend. So, I've posted 3 wins already, so I figured I should probably post a loss as well. And it's a loss that I learned quite a bit about, and I think people can learn from as well. So, look at this matchup. At first, because it's ladder, so I don't know who I'm playing against, so I don't know anything about their playstyle. Their box looks pretty generic with 2 tanks, Autocrator sub-tank, and a bunch of single target stuff with random Himiko in there. So, and 2 healers. So it's kind of similar to mine, except I'm running Burn instead of a Christian. The rest of the heroes are kind of similar actually. I just don't have Himiko in favor of Ares, I think? Yeah, and Ares. So going right into a draft, first ban Lucretia for me. That's all my first bans. Hilda gets banned and T just gets picked. So I think at this point during Saturday I was very irritated because I was just thinking, man, why are people so fucking smart nowadays? Because I tried this box in casual for quite a bit. I grinded quite a bit of games, like 10 plus, and no one like really adapted to first pick their magic DPS like this against my box. So I was kind of getting irritated, and I didn't really have a good solution for it at the time, which I still don't. Like, I think the best way to deal with it is just to match the aggressiveness. So here, at this point, I was like, screw it. I'm going to, follow what you're doing. I'm gonna first pick TGS as well. Ban out the 2 magic tanks. The problem with that is giving Wet Ham TGS on player 1. So even though I'm mirroring his draft and I'm picking Wet Ham as well, he's player 1, so it's a different game altogether. And here he bans Helena, Cherry. Yes, his own Cherry. At this point, it's kind of whatever, these 3 picks. So here, I think I locked myself into I basically dug my own grave. Because when I picked the CC White, my idea is that, I want to make a Lancer tank in case he doesn't choose to go on turn 1 immediately. I want to have that option. But picking this CC White here means that I'm 1 DPS down against this lineup. In my head it makes sense, make a tank and then I will have a way to dispel the despair debuff when he comes in eventually. But yeah, after this I lose my Pepsi, so I don't really have a good janitor now. This diehard is whatever. Honestly, these last 3 picks are whatever. They are not really consequential. Pick my Sigma, which is, in my head, I thought it was the longest range DPS. It was either him or Ares. My Burn. Then my last pick is going to be Ares. So this game is going to be a very fast one. So first thing we learn here is that against opponent Wet Ham, he's probably going to go on turn 1. So usually, like in my Wet Ham video, I mentioned that if you put it in the middle, you can come all the way here and you can hit these 4 blocks. And I think most people that, play aggressive Wet Ham, they already know that people are going to avoid these 4 blocks. And then they just choose to put it on one side. So it's like gambling on what they're gonna get. So in this case, what you need to do is you need to put either the most tanky units you have in front that, hopefully doesn't die to the Wet Ham, especially in this map, so you're forced to bring Gargos if you want to go turn 1. Or you just put the least important unit in front, which in my case is probably Sigma or Ares, either one of them. And then CC White is going to be the other one. Because I think with Phalanx, she should still be able to tank an S-Slash from Wet Ham. Although I'm not certain, she might not. But either way, I definitely shouldn't put my Wet Ham in front. And one thing to note about this map specifically on Gemini Bridge is that it's extra enticing for the wet ham to be on the top row for player 1, because on this row he can kill whatever is on this block and he can retreat back onto the forest tile. And there's not a lot of things that can, you know, I wouldn't say not a lot, but it's extra difficult to one-shot a wet ham on the forest tile here. So whereas on this row there's no terrain, so it's a lot easier to kill a Gargoyle's wet ham. So usually the wet ham will want to be on the top, or you know, sometimes the middle, depending on player. But yeah, so putting my wet ham here was a really bad move, and I immediately lose him on the first action. Hindsight, I should have probably brought werewolves, because wet ham cannot kill wet ham with werewolves most of the time, and you know, I'm probably not going to match his aggressive tempo because I have a Sigma that's, you know, my team doesn't really have the greatest reach, so I'll probably just chilling and recovering on my side, making the Lancer tank and stuff. But probably didn't need to bring Gargoyles as well, so that's another thing. And you know, here we see the problem. So the Despair landed onto my Tensei. It's 3 out of 4. So it's a pretty high chance it's gonna land here. And I don't have an enchanted Night Bloom yet. Eventually I want to try out that build, Night Bloom TJS, because you can just put Strengthen on yourself and it will dispel the Despair and allow you to get your egg again on the Talon. And the Night Bloom is also good against the Die Hard Stun that's going to be showing up more and more commonly nowadays. So because I cannot kill this, like here, the highest odds I have of killing this is with Ares, and it's not even close. Like, it doesn't really matter if I hit from either side to stay away from the sword, because Ares gets most of his stats from his talent of having enemies around him. So either way, that's not gonna kill, you know, even without this 15% from the sword. And this creates a snowballing effect because this TJS, even though it's on the last row, he can move here, he can just jump onto the wet ham, and it can basically kill whatever it wants. So although we both open up with TJS plus wet ham, it's inherently favored to the TJS, because if you can't kill the wet ham, it's a free second kill for the TJS. And you know, you can, although it's not invincible, like if I hit my wet ham and I manage to counter kill this wet ham, the Despair might get onto this TJS. So there are ways around it, but you know, if you let the wet ham TJS do their combo, it's basically impossible to recover from it, because you've lost 2 units, you need to kill 2 units with the 3 units that you have left, and then there's still these 3 guys chilling at the back. It doesn't really matter what these are, they're all DPSs, and they'll just out-trade you one by one. Yeah, I think I'm just like last ditch effort, although I know it's not possible anymore. And yeah, Sherry's eventually just gonna mop up. Oh yeah, just trade. Yeah, just leave. So it was a pretty quick game, just to illustrate, you know, the power of TJS plus wet ham on player 1 against aggro lineups, and why my plan failed basically. So there's a bunch of things that we learned from this. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.